Will a colon cleanse help you lose weight? You know, if that's something you're wondering about, I'm telling you right now, you are not alone. And by the way, you've probably heard about colon cleanses everywhere, right? I mean, they're advertised, on television, on infomercials, in magazines, on the internet. You go to YouTube, and what do you see? You see commercials for colon cleanses all over the place, right? It's everywhere. And colon cleanses sort of make a lot of claims, right? One of them being many times that it'll help you lose weight. But the question is, do colon cleanses really do this? I'm here to answer that question today, guys. By the way, I'm Dr. Jen Caudle. I'm a practicing family physician and an on-air health expert and video creator. By the way, if you like content like this, I do news you can use, health topics. I talk about celebrity health, COVID, you name it. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel and click the little bell for updates. Now, I must tell you, as a family doc, I have done a number of videos on colon cleanses because, oh my gosh, it is the topic of the hour. By the way, there's a few videos I have on YouTube and Facebook I'd love you to check out in case they might be of interest to you. One is called The Truth About Colon Cleanses. Another one's called Does Your Colon Have pounds of toxic waste that needs to be removed? Yes, because I know you've heard that being advertised. The third is 3 natural remedies for constipation. You don't want to miss that. The fourth is 7 tips for good gut health. And the fifth is how often should you poop? Because the bowels are really important, guys. Honestly, when your bowels aren't working right, it doesn't feel good, right? I'm with you on that. So anyway, let's get back to the issue at hand. This video is specifically about colon cleanses and weight loss, because that is one specific thing that I think people are looking for when they are venturing into colon cleanses. Let's talk just a little bit about colon cleanses very, very briefly. You know, there's a couple different types, a few different varieties. Like one is like when people take enemas, laxatives, herbs, things like that, to try to sort of empty the bowel, right? Sometimes people take pills or whatever things that they buy over the counter to try to help, sort of expel the contents in their bowel. Now, the other way is you might have heard of centers opening up that are like hydrotherapy places, where that's a little bit different in that these places almost do colonic irrigation. They use usually water, usually it's copious amounts of water, like lots of water, herbs or coffee or other substances, and that is flushed through the colon in an attempt to sort of clean out and clear out the colon, okay? I talk a lot about this in my other videos, so make sure you check that out. So I just wanted to be very clear about some of the different ways that people try to cleanse their colon. The other thing I should say too is, and again, this video is not about the methods of colon cleansing, but I have to mention this before I talk to you about whether it helps you lose weight. It's important. But I have to mention that there are risks to this, okay? There can be electrolyte abnormalities, problems with your sodium, your potassium, your chloride, etc., things like that. When you're putting these different substances in your body and sort of taking out electrolytes and things like that, there can be imbalances that could actually be very dangerous. Some of these procedures, whether you're doing them by pills or colonic irrigation, etc., can cause dehydration, vomiting, other bowel problems, believe it or not, when you're trying to fix your bowel. The other thing is, many of these techniques actually may help you, rather, I shouldn't say help you because it's not a help, but many of these techniques actually may get rid of healthy bacteria. By the way, that's not what we want, okay? There is healthy bacteria in our gut that does some good stuff. And many of these techniques can actually get rid of that, causing potentially problems. So not good. The other thing is, I mentioned bacterial imbalances, which is kind of that. But also with like some of the colonic irrigation or hydrotherapy places, there can be bowel perforations. Remember when you're sticking something into your bowel, right? Because that's how the water and the fluids and all that stuff kind of cleans out the colon. There's always a potential risk of perforation or something dangerous like that happening. And then I should also say there is a risk of death. Now, I'm not trying to sound dramatic and like all crazy about this, but I'm just saying that any of these things that I mentioned, if severe enough, if problematic enough, could certainly lead to death. And I say that just because I need to be balanced about this, and say that first of all, I don't know any doctor that recommends colon cleansing, just to let you know, but there are risks, and I know that places and companies and bottles make it sound like this is the cure-all, but not so much. Anyway, let's get to the reason why you're watching this video, okay? And I had to say all that stuff, so don't get impatient with me. I know some people are like, get to the point. but just hang in there because I gotta say this stuff. All right, so let's talk about this. Do colon cleanses help you lose weight? Okay, well, what could a colon cleanse actually do? Well, if you are doing any of those techniques I described, you may get rid of a lot of water and stool in your large intestine, and you're likely going to sort of expel and expunge that. So what sometimes happens when we do that, when we have, like, think about it, it's not the same as a bowel movement, but right, you're expunging stuff in your colon. Sometimes when you have a bowel movement, you feel like, oh, okay, you feel less bloated, you feel less sort of full, etc. Could these products, could colonic hydrotherapy make your bowel feel less full? Sure, right? And in many ways that makes sense because with these products, with these procedures, you're actually getting rid of water and stool, right? You're getting rid of the contents of that. So yeah, you may feel a little bit kind of like, okay, I feel less blah, okay? But let's really talk about what that is and what that's not. First of all, it's temporary if you feel that way at all. That's not going to last very long. That's going to last until you eat your next burger and fries or whatever, until you eat a meal, right? Because that's what happens is when we eat, we expel waste through our colon and it comes out. That's what we do every time we eat and afterwards, right? So that's a temporary feeling. The second thing is that helping you lose weight. Now, it might help you get rid of bloat and feeling bloated temporarily, but let's talk about weight. Weight is different. And I think sometimes companies make it seem like getting rid of bloatedness and getting rid of stool is the same as getting rid of weight. Now, yes, water and stool that is in your intestine weighs something. So perhaps if you're getting rid of a lot of it, if you get on the scale before and afterwards, there may be a change in pounds. But is that really fat? Is that fat loss? Because that's what we're talking about when we talk about weight loss, right? We're not talking about just losing anything. We're talking about losing fat. It's not fat loss. It's losing the weight of your stool and all the water that you expelled, which, by the way, remember again, is temporary, okay? So, and let me just say a couple other things along those lines. Increasing your bowel movements or increasing what you expel or expunge doesn't help with weight loss, which, by the way, ding, 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 that's the answer. If you didn't know that that's sort of what I was leading up to, doesn't help with weight loss for a number of reasons. Number one, the body absorbs most of its calories before, the substances actually even gets to the large intestines. Keep that in mind. Your calories have most likely predominantly been absorbed before the stuff that's being expunged is expunged. That's the first thing. And remember, you're removing stool and water. You're not getting rid of fat. So while you may feel a little bit like, ooh, I feel less bloated, ooh, I feel more flat, well, that's great, but that's temporary until you eat again. And then when you have a bowel movement, that will hopefully go down as well. And you may feel like the scale is a little different, a little lighter, but that's because you're getting rid of the weight of water and stool. Again, not fat. When we talk about weight loss, the goal is fat loss, okay? Guys, I want you to keep this in mind, and I guess I also want to just sort of regroup and go back to this idea that there's a reason why doctors don't recommend colon cleanses, right? The large reason is that the claims that colon cleanses and colon cleansing places make are largely unsubstantiated. They don't necessarily do what they say they do. In fact, we don't have any evidence really that suggests they do any of that. And there's risks to it. If you want to lose weight, the best bet, even though it's unglamorous and not exciting, is exercise and eating a healthy diet. If you want to clean out your colon, if you feel like you don't have bowel movements regularly enough, if you feel like you're bloated and backed up, well, I want you to talk to your doctor because there are products, medications, things you can do to help with that. Also, eating fiber and drinking plenty of water will help, exercising, etc. Remember, I did that video on 3 natural ways to fix your constipation. But this is the thing. Well, that is the thing. I mean, I hate to be a Debbie Downer. I do, because I know a lot of people put a lot of stock in these things. But don't waste your money. Save your money. Put your money into something that's actually going to work. Be long-term. Buy a treadmill. And I'm not being funny. I'm being actually quite serious. Think critically about these things. For medical issues that you have, please talk to your doctor. That's what we are here for. Be careful of colon cleanses, hydrotherapy, colon irrigation, enemas, stuff like that, that's aimed to clean out your colon and remove toxins and stuff like that. There is no evidence that that does the case, and it could be dangerous. Anyway, I'm not going to keep going on and on and on and on. I do want you to check out my other videos on Facebook and YouTube. The Truth About Colon Cleanses. Does your colon have pounds of toxic waste that needs to be removed? 3 natural remedies for constipation, 7 tips for good gut health, and how often you should poop. Guys, I'm Dr. Jen Caudle. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I invite you to do so. I do daily videos on all sorts of stuff. All right, guys, I will be back soon, probably with more gut stuff. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.